Hello everyone, I'm Sean and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be making a batch of these quite nice Purpleheart guitar stands. I do make these to sell on my Etsy store. The link is going to be in the description below. So if you do want to support me, pick one of these up, that's where to go get them. Grab yourself a cup of tea, get comfy and enjoy. First thing I need to do is mill these guys down. So I need to rip them to width, cut them to length, flatten them all and get them all to thickness. Going to be using a selection of machines here. First off, the bandsaw, which here at Crimson we don't have a table saw, which would be perfect for this, but the bandsaws are set up beautifully. So I'm going to rip them down on that and then put them through the planer and get them nice and flat and to the thickness that I need, and then finally cut them to dimension, ready to glue them up. I need to glue these up into L shapes because, well, it's more space efficient really. I could, I guess, make them out of one piece, but that would be incredibly inefficient with wood. And yeah, I'm not about that. So let's head into the machine room, pop on hearing protection, and yeah, want some nice tunes and get milling down. Now, all chopped up into its constituent parts. So next thing I do is take my template, take two pieces, check, measure, figure out which one is which, lay them up like that, and that joint is pretty much perfect already. And I'm just going to lay it out. So I have planned these out to be fairly tight. That's exactly what I want, so simply a case of draw around. And also I've got a slot on the template, which is for biscuit positioning. So I need to go through all of these guys, get them done up. I'm also going to, that's one other step, as I do them, label them each, because I have taken quite good care to make sure that the grain orientation stays the same. So when I have the pile like this, these four, you know, half an hour ago, were aboard in that orientation. It helps with color streaks or anything, you know, throughout the stands. And yeah, basically gives the best grain match. So, gonna do all these, and then we need to put some biscuit joints into it. Finally, glue up. Now, some of those joints aren't 100% perfect, so since this is an end grain joint, well, end grain to side grain, I want that as perfect as I can possibly get it. And to do that, I'm going to use a shooting board with my low angle number 62 plane and just bring those joints in, get them spot on. Yeah, it's a little bit of extra work, but it is absolutely worth it because, well, we like to make good things as well as nice things. So let's do that now. Okay, so these are all glued up with a load of weird L shapes, which is perfect. So now I just need to split these into their pairs, just like this. Nobody saw that. So that's the pairs. Now, one thing with Purpleheart, you know, you look at these guys and they're not the most purple things in the world. The end grain actually isn't bad, where it's been cut a couple hours earlier. So Purpleheart oxidizes in the air and also reacts to UV light. So over time it gets more and more purple. Hopefully in the next couple of days, they will oxidize nicely for me. And then I'll be able to take some lovely pictures. And so yeah, make sure to keep an eye on my Instagram and of course on my Etsy account. And yeah, hopefully we'll see some pictures of these guys nicely oxidized. But anyway, before any of that, now that I have these guys paired up nicely, I'm going to use super glue and masking tape just to stick each pair together. This makes sure that I can, when I'm cutting them out and sanding them up, that each pair, each stand is exactly the same. Well, each side is exactly the same as the other side, which I guess isn't the most important thing in the world, but you know, I kind of like to do it that way. The reason as well I do this is because I am cutting these all out by hand on a bandsaw and then sanding them in with belt sanders and spindle sanders. I'm not using a router table, which would be nice for a couple of reasons. First of all, I don't want to have to be sticking and unsticking templates constantly. It'll take more time to do that. And the other one is I tried that for a few stands way back, and especially around here, there's a higher chance of chip out and break out, and repairing that just takes so much longer than just sanding it all in. So yeah, there is a little bit of reasoning for you. Now, super glue. I don't have any. Super glue. Burnish it down. For those of you who haven't seen it, this is super glue masking tape trick, technique, whatever you want to call it. Basically, stick down masking tape, super glue the masking tape together, and it's a improved version of double-sided tape. A little bit of pressure, make sure make sure the super glue goes off, and that should now be stuck together. So I'm going to go ahead, do the other 3 pairs of these, and I've already drawn on them from earlier, if you remember, and I hope you do, it wasn't that long ago. I've already drawn on them, so I'm going to go out to the bandsaws, rough cut all of this. I'll probably save the waste, who knows what I'll do with it. And then I'm going to use the belt sander next door. We've got a lovely big belt sander, it's beautiful to use. I'm going to use that to rough it, not even to rough in, to just sand in the shape. And there's another beautiful spindle sander next door with a very high grit, and I'm going to get the sides basically up to final grit. Once I have the shape finalized, onto the router table, I'm going to put a round over on it, and then I'm going over to the orbital sanders, sanding everything up to a nice high grit, basically ready for finish at that stage, more or less. I'm also going to use some templates to use the router table to rough in the hinge slot. So, good bunch of work. I'm going to put my headphones in. Yeah, let's get going. Okay, I'm going to interrupt myself real quick, just explain what I'm doing with the hinge cutout. So, first thing I have to do, split the two pairs. And then I have these templates, two of them, one left, one right, which just sit. Ooh, sometimes they need a little bit of convincing. There we go. They just sit onto the inside, and then I'm going to use another table router with a small bit just to go in, cut it out. I still have to finish that up with a chisel by hand, but this does the bulk of the work quite quickly. All sanded up, and I'm dusty. They're looking pretty good. Next thing I want to do at this stage is glue on the leather facings that will essentially protect the instrument as it's on it. So I'm going to pop it into the vise and get our leather. For this, I'm just going to be using standard PVA glue. Just wood glue. Works perfectly fine. And I like to kind of prep these two at a time. 2 sets at a time. So I'm just going to be putting a little bit of glue on each piece and then using a paintbrush to just brush it out nicely. I'll start on one side, and by the time I have all 4 painted up, the first one should be decently tacky, which is great because then I don't need to, clamp it or anything. And then it's simply a case of take the leather, position it where it needs to be. Make sure it is positioned where it needs to be. And stick it down. And there should, by this stage, be plenty of tack in the glue. So that's it. Just have a bunch more to do. And then we get on to branding. Branding is going to be a lot of fun. I have just branding irons made up for myself, which I heat up with a blowtorch and press on. So, go ahead, do that. Meet you when that's all done. Finally, we're ready for assembly. These guys are all finished. They're looking great. They should as well, as I said, get more and more purple as they're exposed to UV, which is nice. So, assembly time. I need to make some holes for my leather retainers, which have two little brass pins in the ends of them. So they go there. I need to drill some holes and install hinges. I need to screw it all together. That's it. And that is it for this video. So, one batch of Purpleheart guitar stands. They look fabulous, if I do say so myself. They are going to purple up even more over the next little while, and I can't wait for that. So, as always, make sure to hit like, subscribe, leave a comment, and hit that bell notification to be notified next time I post something. And if you do want to go that little bit further, support the channel, support me that little bit more, head over to my Etsy store, link down below, pick one of these guys up or one of the others. I make a selection of different woods. This year I have maple, sapele and beech and ash, as well as this Purpleheart. All available in limited numbers, I will say. So if you're thinking about it, get in there quick. Thanks very much, everyone. See you again real soon.